Hello students. Today we are going to discuss on coordinate system. We'll start from 2D coordinate system and we'll have a look on velocity and acceleration in different coordinate systems. Then slowly we will go towards the 3D coordinate system, that is cylindrical coordinate system and plane polar coordinate system. So as I have already told, there are several mathematical deduction and derivatives involved in this calculation, but I will try to restrict my lecture from the physical point of view so that you can understand it, and later you can go through any book to have the full idea about the lesson. So first let us consider that I am considering one 2D coordinate system, and let it be Cartesian coordinate system, that the conventional x, y, z coordinate system that you know. In 2D I will have only x and y coordinates. Suppose this is my coordinate, and in this x and y, let us consider that I am having one arc through which one particle is moving with certain velocity. I am having a particle p, suppose here this is the instantaneous position p, and if I join it by some line, this will be called the radial vector, and the unit vector along the radial direction, let it be in r, and unit vector perpendicular to the radial direction, it is called generally the transverse direction, let it be in theta, where this angle is theta. So in plane polar coordinate system, if you want to derive this particle, you have to give the coordinate as p r comma theta. R theta is what? This is r, this vector r, and it is on the angle x with the it is with the angle theta with the x-axis. So in plane polar coordinate, generally we calculate the velocity and acceleration in such a way that the vector r is given as r magnitude into nr cap. Okay, n is the unit vector, as I told. Nr means unit vector along r direction. So if you want to calculate the velocity vector from it, the velocity vector will be dr dt, as you know. So you can write it as d dt of this r into nr cap. So if the unit vector, that is nr cap, is constant, that means it is the radial vector is not changing its direction, then only you can derive it in this form that v will be equals to, this is constant, so this will be nr cap into dr dt, as simple as that. Again from it, if you want to calculate the acceleration, acceleration will be equals to d dt of v vector, that is n r cap d2 r dt2. Is simple, but here we have simplified it in this form that this nr cap is constant. There is a question mark. Nr cap is constant means the radial vector is not changing its direction. Now if it is happening that the radial component is also changing its direction, okay, then what will happen? Then it will be involved with rotational motion. In case of rotational motion, the whole calculation will be changed a little, not wholly, it will be changed a little. How it will be changing? In that case, you have to consider angular acceleration, that is the other part where you are going to calculate r constant from this derivative, r constant. Then okay, let me write it first. If you want to derive it, first you can consider that dr dt, r is dr dt, that nr cap. Now if you consider this nr cap is also varying, then the next part will be r dnr cap dt. This part will come into action, whereas we have considered in the previous calculation that this part is 0. But now this comes into action, this part will be called angular velocity. So angular velocity can be written as r d nr cap dt. We know nr cap dot nr cap equals to 1, that is multiplication of two unit vectors is equals to 1. So if you differentiate now, differentiate with respect to suppose time t, then what you are going to get? You are going to get first term will be d nr cap dt into nr cap plus nr cap d nr cap dt. So actually what you are getting? Actually you are getting 2 into d nr cap dt dot nr cap equals to 0. Okay, this part will be 0, this will be 0, which implies that dnr cap dt and nr cap both are perpendicular to each other. Are perpendicular to each other. If this is perpendicular to each other, then dnr cap dt will be the transverse component of nr cap. So with some diagram I can show you. Suppose this is the circle of radius r. If I consider in this direction r is increasing and unit vector is nr cap, so this transverse direction will be n theta cap, like that. So now we can write the transverse unit vector along the transverse direction is n theta cap, and this n theta cap will be this n theta cap. Similarly, n theta cap, this will be perpendicular to d n theta cap dt, and it will be opposite to nr cap. Why? Look at this figure. Try to understand that if you consider this is nr cap and this is n theta cap, I am introducing one new vector, that is n theta cap. N theta cap is perpendicular to dn theta dt. So in which direction dn theta is increasing? It is increasing in this direction. So it will be just opposite to nr cap, this direction. So if you can write dn theta dt, if you ever find dn theta dt, instead of that you can put nr cap with a negative sign. So actually the two unit vectors are related to each other. If these are related to each other, from the concept of transverse direction velocity v, you can write v equals to omega cross r, that you can write. And if you differentiate, instead of v, if you put the value v, the transverse velocity that we have calculated, the angular velocity is r dn drn dt, r, then dnr cap dt, and this can be written as omega cross r nr cap. Okay, so both the sides r cancels out. You are getting d nr cap dt equals to omega means d theta dt into n theta cap. Got it? So instead of this nr cap, I am writing now n theta cap and d theta dt instead of omega. So your new value of v, the angular velocity, will be equals to r d theta dt into n theta cap. Okay, So what I'm doing, I'm just putting the value of d nr cap dt, d nr cap dt, the value I got it here, I'm putting it here. So angular acceleration, how to calculate the value of angular acceleration? The angular acceleration can be calculated as differentiating this v. So if you differentiate this one, you have to consider r is constant. So first term will be r d2 theta dt2 n theta cap. First term, this is constant, differentiating this and this constant, plus the second term again r constant, then d theta dt, then d n theta cap dt. As I already told, if you ever find d n theta cap dt, instead of that you can write minus nr cap, because this is opposite to each other. So finally you are getting r d2 theta dt2 into n theta cap minus, here I am putting nr cap, r d theta dt into nr cap. This will be the value of angular acceleration and this will be the value of angular velocity. So like this you can proceed your calculation. Only the thing what I have considered here in this calculation, first I have considered that it is a simple plane polar coordinate, and initially I calculated considering that the radial vector is not changing its direction. Then the calculation was very simple. But once I started calculating the radial vector is changing its direction and this term d nr cap dt do exist, then the whole calculation is changing and new terms are coming out, and now you are able to calculate the angular part of this acceleration and everything. Okay, now we'll see how to calculate the tangential and normal component of acceleration. So initially what I am considering, again I am considering one two-dimensional coordinate system. I am having x and y coordinates, and I am having one radial vector r, and the particle is moving along this arc at an instantaneous point. P is having coordinates r theta, so this is r vector and this is the angle theta. So at any instantaneous point, if you want to resolve r and theta in terms of x and y, how you are going to resolve it? You can have the vector components r, this can be written as, or instead of that you can consider what is x and what is y. You can consider easily x will be equals to r cos theta and y will be equals to r sin theta. So you can play with the coordinates. In Cartesian coordinate system you are having the coordinates x and y. In plane polar coordinate system you are having r theta, so you can actually convert r theta in terms of x and y. So r vector, that can be written as, in Cartesian coordinate, ix plus jy. So in plane polar coordinate it will be written, instead of x and y you are going to put the values I into r cos of theta plus j r sin of theta. Okay, so what will be the value of velocity? Velocity will be always dr dt. And how to get the transverse component of velocity? The transverse component of velocity will be equals to t1, suppose unit vector along the transverse direction, that will be equals to velocity vector v divided by mod v. That will give you the component along that. How to get the acceleration? Acceleration will be always equal to dv dt. Simple. So the transverse component of acceleration, it will be at will be equals to a, then the transverse direction unit vector a into t cap. So normal component an, that will be equals to a into this, you can consider r cap or whatever along the normal direction. You can consider as a into t transverse component, and n is the normal component you can consider. that is n cap, like that. So actual total acceleration, that will be equals to a square, will be a t square plus a n square. So acceleration, that can be written as whole root of power of at square plus an square, like this. This is simple calculation. Now we are going towards one particular coordinate system. We are going towards a particular coordinate system, and the coordinate system we are now going to consider, it is suppose cylindrical coordinate system. In cylindrical coordinate system, first if you can write or sketch the coordinate system properly, most of the calculation will be done then and then. Only the concept is important, how the cylindrical coordinate system is being formed. First try to understand the cylindrical coordinate system. The term is having some connection with the mathematical calculation or the physics involved. Cylindrical coordinate system means you have to consider a cylinder. First, suppose you are considering one hypothetical cylinder or any system which is cylindrical in form, and you are cutting the cylinder midwise like this. Then you are having one axis of the cylinder, and you are having some cross section like that, surface area of the cross section like that. Here you are having some point, suppose this is point, any point, suppose this is r, any vector r. Now you have to, in Cartesian coordinates, r will have components x, y, z, but in cylindrical system, that where the surface or boundary surface is like one cylinder, or it is forming like a cylinder, you can consider any tube light in your home, a cylindrical tube light, in that you are cutting it midwise, you are having some surface like that and like that. From the top, if you are lighting some light, this vector will have some projection on the meridian plane. This is called the meridian plane, the surface area on the cross section. Here the projection vector, that will be termed as rho. That is important, that will be termed as rho. And the vector rho, now on that meridian plane, the top axis, that is the axis which is perpendicular to the meridian plane, that will be always z axis. And on the meridian plane you are considering two axes like this. Suppose this is your x axis and this is your y axis. So on the meridian plane, the rho vector making an angle theta with the x axis, and the r vector is having whatsoever angle. I am not bothered, I am bothered about the projection. The projection of the r vector rho on the meridian plane is making an angle theta with the x axis. Now if you join this tip point of r and rho, and that will consider one particular height, and let the height be z, and these three are the variable here in cylindrical coordinate system, that is rho, theta, z. These 3 points are important. In some books you will find that instead of rho they have used the term probably r or something, but I am not fond of that, because r is always the radial vector and projection of r should be considered as the new vector rho. Rho making an angle, whatsoever the angle is with x-axis on the meridian plane will be considered as theta. That is one variable, because if the direction of r is changing, the value of theta will be changing. If the direction of r is changing like that, then value of z will be changing. So 3 important points are there. The variables are rho, theta and z. So cylindrical coordinate system will be confined or will be considered with these 3 coordinates. Now again, like the previous one, you have to resolve the r, theta, z in terms of x, y, z, or the conventional knowledge you have. What is your conventional knowledge? That is, if it is x direction, let me magnify this one. If I magnify this one, it will be easier to understand. So these are the 3 coordinates. Now I have resolved it into coordinates. This is x, y and z, and it was my r vector. R vector is making a projection on the xy plane. The projection is rho. Rho is making an angle theta with the x-axis. Now I am resolving it into components. So try to resolve it into components. Suppose this is x and this is your y and this is your z. Z is the height. So most simple thing is z equals to z. So whatever be in my Cartesian coordinate z, and that is same in the cylindrical coordinate also. Z equals to Z. Let's start from the simple one. Then what will be the value of x? The value of x, that will be equals to rho cos theta. Fine. Value of y, that will be equals to rho sin theta. Now the problem is solved. So whatever you are going to do now, you have to deal with these three new variables. These three new variables are rho, theta and z. So if you consider the vector r will be equals to I cap into x plus j cap into y plus k cap into z. So in the new form of coordinates, you have to write, instead of I cap, you can write r vector will be equals to I cap into x. The value of x is what? Rho cos of theta. Then j cap. Then y equals to rho sin theta. Then z equals to k cap into z. It's so simple. Now again you can resolve it, the components of suppose what is the value of nr cap, the unit vector along the direction rho, that will be n rho cap. You can easily calculate the value of this n theta cap. You can easily calculate the value of nz cap. That you can calculate. How you can calculate? That I am showing you. What will be the unit vector along suppose rho. Unit vector along rho, that will be n rho cap. How to calculate n rho cap? That will be d rho dt vector divided by d rho dt, its mod. Rho, that you know, what is the value of rho, that you know, and you can easily calculate. Okay, I am showing it in more lucid language. You now remember what was the value of r? The value of r, that was equals to I cap into r cos theta plus j cap into r sin theta plus k cap into z. Did we consider r? No, we considered rho. Rho cos theta, rho sin theta into z. Did we consider rho? Yes, we considered rho. Okay, fine. Now what will be the value of dr? I am writing dr, d rho. D rho will be differentiation with respect to rho. Okay, and the value of d rho mod, that will be the unit vector along rho cap. Similarly, if we calculate dr d theta divided by dr d theta mod, that will be n theta cap, and again dr dz divided by dr dz mod, that will be nz cap. This is so simple to calculate. Only you have to differentiate it first with respect to rho, then differentiate for this one with respect to theta, then differentiate with respect to z. So simple. If you calculate it, you can see the calculation in any book. You will get find I cos theta plus j sin theta, and for n theta cap you will get minus I sin theta plus j cos of theta, and nz cap will be equals to k cap. That you are going to get. Now it is the time to calculate the velocity. How to calculate the velocity? Velocity will have three components. The first component will be with respect to rho, second with respect to theta, third with respect to k. Rho, theta, z, that means k, unit vector. So if you want to calculate some more that will be required for further calculation, that is d nr cap dt, what you are going to get, and d, or instead of nr what I am writing in rho, dn rho cap dt and dn theta cap dt. That also you can keep on calculating. That is the unit vector that you got. Again, differentiation of this one with respect to t. If you do this, you will be getting theta dot into n theta cap, and here you will going to get minus of theta dot nr cap. Now if you want to calculate the velocity component from this r you know, you want to calculate the velocity v will be equals to dr dt. Now solve it, it will be ddt of the whole term I into rho cos theta plus j into rho sin theta plus k cap into z. Differentiate it. First term, it is having several variables. The first variable you are considering I constant, then d rho dt cos theta constant. So I am doing it for you. I, then d rho dt, then cos of theta. Okay, plus then I rho constant, derivative of cos theta is minus sin theta, then theta, derivative of theta is d theta dt, plus similarly the next component, plus j, then d rho dt into sin theta, plus j rho cos of theta into theta dot plus k cap into z, sorry, dz dt, k cap into dz dt. Again you can put now the value of d rho dt. Okay, and d rho dt you can easily calculate. You know the value of rho was equals to rho, you know, probably forgot. I'm making you remember. First term, when you started, we considered that x equals to rho cos theta, y equals to rho sin theta. So if you take the square and multiplication both the sides, you will get rho equals to whole root over of x square plus y square, isn't it? So rho will be equals to actually r square. So d rho dt will be equals to r dot. So it will converge to d rho dt. Instead of this d rho dt, you can put rho dot, this I rho dot cos of theta minus this term minus I rho sin theta plus this term theta dot. Instead of theta dot, you can expand it, plus j rho dot sin theta plus j rho cos theta plus k cap into z. Finally you will be getting v equals to r dot rho dot into n rho cap plus r theta dot or rho theta dot into n theta cap plus z dot into nz cap. That is why I previously calculated the value of that I told that this d n rho cap dt equals to theta dot n theta and d n theta cap dt equals to minus theta into nr cap that I previously told you to calculate. D n theta cap dt equals to minus of theta, no sorry, it will be theta dot n theta dot nr, theta dot. That is why I told you to calculate, because from that if you calculate this, take this rho dot constant, if you take this rho dot constant, here also you are getting one rho dot, it is coming out of the calculation. Within the bracket it will remain I cos theta plus j sin theta. So I cos theta plus j sin theta is nothing but n rho cap. And similarly here, if you take calculate it out, this rho theta cap, if you take calculate rho theta cap out of the calculation, then the remaining values will give you the value of n theta, and the last term will be remaining as similar as before. The last term it is having no problem, dz dt, it is having no problem absolutely. So instead of that you can write dz dt, you can write k z cap also. If you do not write dz dt, you can write k z cap, and the last term will be as similar as before. Instead of this k cap, you are getting nz cap. Fine. So what I am trying to say, that I am trying to show you the calculation in one new coordinate system, that is cylindrical coordinate system. It will be a little different from the Cartesian concept. Finally the velocity component is having the new variables, that is rho, theta and z. And what is rho, what is theta and what is z, that you know. So only what I have tried to establish some relationship between the Cartesian coordinate and the cylindrical coordinate, and finally came to a conclusion that how the value will be varying. So starting from this point also, if you go towards the acceleration part, you can easily go towards the acceleration part. Acceleration will be equals to dv dt. In that case again you have to differentiate this term, you have to differentiate it, and you know the values of this one, and you have to use these values whatever you have previously calculated, and see the calculation in any book. Finally you will converge to a result, r double dot, or instead of r you can write I am writing rho double dot minus rho theta dot square into n rho cap. This is the first term. Second term will be 2 rho dot theta dot plus rho theta double dot into n theta cap plus z double dot into n z cap. Here also the acceleration will be calculated in terms of rho theta and z. So repetitively I am getting stuck with rho and r. That is one conceptual problem, because in most of the books you will find the calculation in terms of r, but I am not fond of that. So I am trying to make you understand from very starting or very beginning, convert this concept of r and try to adopt the concept of rho, because rho is the projection of r actually, and the projection of r, that is rho, that we will be calculating in cylindrical coordinate system. So in very brief, let me now describe the spherical polar coordinate system, or spherical coordinate system in 3 dimension, and I am not going to do the entire calculation now, only I will show you the concept of spherical polar coordinate. In spherical polar coordinate, the concept is exactly as similar as before. Just you have to consider that you are stuck in a sphere, like that you are stuck in a sphere, and this is the center of the sphere. If you cut the sphere into 2 halves, the upper hemisphere and lower hemisphere will be divided by a plane, and that plane is called again the meridian plane. And the meridian plane, on the meridian plane you have to consider a vector perpendicular to the meridian plane, that will be your z vector, and on the meridian plane you have to consider 2 vectors, which will be your x and y, and the meridian plane will be confined within the xy plane only. And if you are having any point, any radial vector like that, suppose this is the vector r, this vector r, if it is making an angle theta with the z axis, and projection of r on the meridian plane is making an angle phi with the x axis, then the new coordinate system in the spherical polar coordinate system will be r theta phi. Do remember, here is no concept of rho, and rho is not required actually. Only I need to know r, theta and phi. Now if I magnify this figure, this will be my x, y and z coordinates, and I am having a vector r like that. This is the radial vector which is making an angle theta with the z axis. And on the xy plane, the projection of r, suppose this is the projection of r on the xy plane, this is making an angle phi with the x axis. So in this concept, you have to now resolve this r theta phi in terms of xyz. That is also very simple. Only the conversion will be taking a little time. Then you have to consider, the steps are very simple. First, convert this r theta phi in terms of xyz. Then calculate the unit vectors along this r theta phi. Then calculate the velocity and calculate the acceleration. Only this is the task. So how to calculate, if this is x and this is y and this vector is z, then how to convert this one? You can easily convert that. First you calculate that if you consider that this vector is rho, which we considered in case of cylindrical coordinate, what will be this rho vector, the new vector, this new vector which is on the meridian plane, lying on the meridian plane, that is actually the shadow of r. So which is, this vector can be written as, if this angle is theta, this angle will also be 90 degree minus theta. So this will be, can you tell that what will be this vector? This vector, this is r cos theta, and this vector on the meridian plane, this will be r sin theta, this vector. So component of r sin theta along x, so x will be equals to r sin theta cos of phi. Similarly, y will be component of r sin theta along y, so it will be r sin theta sin phi, this one. And now z is what? Z, the height, and this vector will be exactly same. So z will be equals to r cos theta. This is the conversion. The conversion is completed now. If the conversion is completed, you can easily calculate anything you want. Now the new vector r equals to ix plus jy plus kz, that is the conceptual vector in Cartesian coordinate, that can be written now as I into the value of x equals to r sin theta cos of phi, then j r sin theta sin of phi plus k into r cos theta. This is the conversion of the vector. Once the conversion of the vector is completed, now what are the steps? You have to calculate n r cap, then you have to calculate n theta cap, r theta, then r theta phi, r theta, then n phi cap. The calculation is simple. How to calculate n r cap? This will be dr by dr whole divided by dr by dr, this mod. Similarly, you can calculate n theta cap and n phi cap. Now putting the values on the result, you will be calculating the velocity. The velocity is important to calculate. The velocity will be equals to r dot into n r cap plus r theta dot into n theta cap plus r sin theta, then phi dot into n phi cap. This will be the vector that you will calculate at the end. Calculation of acceleration is little difficult and lengthy. Despite that, I am writing the value of acceleration so that you can remember that how big it is and how to calculate it and how to remember it. Finally, the concept of acceleration is little lengthy, as I told. If you want to calculate the acceleration in case of spherical polar coordinate, the acceleration will be having several terms, and acceleration vector that will be equals to nr cap, then r double dot minus r theta dot square minus r phi dot square, then sin square theta, plus next term r n theta cap, then r theta double dot plus twice r dot theta minus r theta dot square sin theta cos of theta, plus the last term n phi cap into r phi double dot sin theta plus twice r dot phi dot sin theta plus twice r theta dot phi dot cos of theta. But I don't think that you have to focus on that. You have to keep this remember this always, because most of the calculations will be asked from actually the velocity component. Very less may be asked from the acceleration component every time, because acceleration is itself lengthy calculation. And did I write it twice r dot theta dot? This will be twice r dot theta dot. It's r sin theta cos phi dot square, r sin theta cos phi into theta dot square. Okay, whatsoever. You have to just have a look on it, look on this calculation. I'm not sure whether it is exactly right or wrong, but I forgot it, the final expression. Probably it is right, but else I will suggest you to go through any book first before making your mind. Again, I'm checking it. The final term will be r double dot minus r theta dot square, r theta dot square minus r phi dot square sin square theta. This is correct. Second term is r theta double dot plus twice r dot theta dot minus r sin theta cos theta phi dot square, r sin theta cos theta, this is phi dot square, phi dot square. Last term will be r sin theta phi double dot, r sin theta phi double dot plus twice r dot phi dot sin theta, twice r dot phi dot sin theta. Last term will be twice r theta dot phi dot cos theta. Fine, this is right. So okay, so let us conclude. Then my main business was to make you understand different coordinate systems and what to do with the coordinate system. The objective of the class is not still clear, that what we'll get finally from that. The objective of the class, that will be clarified in the next day. That is, suppose you are going to calculate any particular volume. Suppose any particular small piece of volume is confined within the spherical polar coordinate system. How to calculate this volume? And integrating the whole volume, do I get the whole spherical system? Yes, you can get. Then how to calculate the volume in spherical polar coordinate system? If you are having some, suppose you are calculating the moment of inertia of the half hemisphere. If you are calculating the hemisphere, moment of inertia hemisphere, you have to go towards the spherical polar coordinate system. Suppose you are having one cylinder like that, a solid cylinder, and the solid cylinder is cut axially, and you are having the half cylinder and it is rotating along the axis. In that case, you have go towards the cylindrical coordinate system. These are the main objective of the class. So this is the beginning of the coordinate system. In the next class, we will follow the applications of that. So before that, I summarize. I started from the plane polar coordinate system in 2D, then I marched towards the conversion of Cartesian coordinate system to cylindrical coordinate system and plane polar coordinate system. And the steps that you have to follow: first you have to know the variables. In cylindrical coordinates, the variables were rho, theta, z, and in spherical polar coordinate systems, the variables are r, theta, phi. Only the conceptual difference is r, theta, phi and rho, theta, z. First you have to convert this r, theta, phi in terms of x, y, z. Same as for cylindrical coordinate system. Then you have to go towards the unit vector calculation. Then you can calculate the velocity and acceleration separately. So that's all for the class. In the next class, I will come with some applications of the coordinate systems. Thank you.